Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at Persona 4 for the PlayStation 2. The game was developed and produced by Atlus and was released in 2008 for the PlayStation 2. So, a murder mystery and a world of shadows inside a TV world. Is it any good? Well, let's take a more in-depth look, shall we? The game's story has you playing the role of Yu Murakami, who's staying for just over a year with his uncle in a small rural town known as Inaba, which is in Japan. While staying at your uncle's, you find out that there's a local scandal going on, and eventually these lead up to mysterious murders, where bodies are found hanging upside down, or in even more confusing situations that just can't be explained. Things get even weirder when you meet up with Yosuke and Chie, and accidentally end up falling through the TV world that ends up being some sort of different dimension. This world is filled with blinding fog, and also seems to be home to several weird looking shadow monsters which are out to hurt you. Eventually you gain the power of Persona, and as the story expands, you meet more Persona users who help you in your travels through the TV world as you attempt to find out who the culprit is of all these murders, and also as the reason as to why this keeps happening. The story itself is utterly fantastic. I hadn't played this game before, and as the story progressed it just got more and more better. It's an extremely good story, and it's really good storytelling, told from one of the greatest developers out there. And the whole way that the game's story progresses through the game is done perfectly. You never feel like the story is dragging, or that it's going too quickly at any point. It's just told exactly right, and if anything, it only gets better the more you go on. The game's story is truly storytelling at its finest. The game's cast of characters is a small group of Persona users that you end up meeting as he stays with his uncle. The cast ranges from Yosuke, who's your new best friend, whose dad also owns the local mall known as Junes. Then there's Chie, who's a martial arts fan, who also has known Yosuke since they were little, and is generally the tomboy of the group. We then have Yukiko, who has all the pressures of taking on her family's business, but at the same time, she has all these conflicting feelings as she wants to leave the small town that she lives in. We get a whole host of other characters, with each one of them being exceptionally well done and portrayed, and I have to mention just how well Kanji is created. You see, Kanji is a character who joins the group, and he's also a very confused but also a very complicated character. Atlus took a very brave step with Kanji, and how he deals with his confusion about his own sexuality and how the others end up treating him during the events of the game. At first, Teddy was my favourite character, and then it became Kanji because of just how amazingly well he is played out. Then of course, after the cross-dressing scene, yes, my favourite character was Teddy again after the betrayal of Alice from Alice in Wonderland. The point is, Persona 4 has an amazing cast of characters, and all of them are very well created. While I love Persona 3 and its cast of characters, this game really has come a long way with Persona 4 and how it portrays its characters and how they're represented. It really is a huge leap in character advancing, with just how well the characters come across and how they're represented. Gameplay for the game is like that of Persona 3's gameplay, only this time every single thing in the game is being improved upon. Combat itself is turn-based, and you have the ability to attack, use your Persona skills, use items, guard, tactics, and team attacks. The trick to combat is basically to find the enemy's weakness and to go at it full throttle, because that's essentially what the enemy is going to do to you. Seriously, the boss battles in this game were extreme. There were so many times where I just found my arse being handed to me on a plate, time and time again, during the boss battles, because the higher you advance in the game's levels, the more powerful the shadows created will become. And once you reach a boss, that boss will generally be way more overpowered than what you could be, and the fight usually always ends up being an uphill struggle. You become more powerful by creating more powerful personas and learning new abilities and tactics against enemies. This is much easier than it sounds, however, as you only have a certain amount of days in which you can explore the new areas in which you find before you're forced into battle with that area's boss. You also have to deal with everything else that's going on in the real world, such as various social links which expand the story of each character, and also having to do various events throughout the game. You're never left twiddling your thumbs with this game, You're always busy doing something, be it going through the TV world or connecting with your social links in the real world. The game's graphics consist of 3D generated characters on a 3D generated world. When characters interact with each other, you're given a text box below and also drawn images of the character on the side. Essentially, the game uses the same graphics engine of Persona 3, but it has been improved upon greatly from what the developers learned over time from the previous game. The game's graphics in general are rather beautiful, and I really liked how they came across. I really liked the mix of the 3D animations and the 2D drawn animations, as it helped the game feel as if it was almost like playing an anime, and since I love watching anime, I found that I enjoyed this game more because of the style that the game represents. Everything in this game world, from the beautifully created 2D drawn characters, right down to the small details such as images on the TV, when Anako is watching television, really help make you feel part of the world in which you're playing the game in, and that's part of the magic of this game's graphics. It never tries to be over the top, such as something like Final Fantasy X for example, and instead just focuses on maintaining good graphics and immersion throughout the entire game. The small town of Inaba is very well created, and although it's a small tiny town, it does feel a lot bigger than it actually is, and with the added features of the TV world, the game itself just feels that much more bigger. You have Dojima's house in which you're staying in, where you can move around to the living room, the kitchen, and you also have your own upstairs personal room. You can also wander outside and walk around the local area too. You can also walk around to the more busy areas where Junes is located, but sadly you can't actually walk into Junes on your own and explore them all, which personally I feel was a massive missed opportunity. Yosuke is jokingly called the Prince of Junes, and you also see Junes advertised on TV a lot. So it would have made sense to have given you the ability to walk around Junes yourself, right? You also have the school that you can wander around and explore. You can explore various classrooms and also join various activities such as basketball, acting, or learning an instrument. You can walk along the main city streets and you can have the smith make new weapons for you, which you can then take to the TV world, or you can also pick up the latest book at the local bookstore to help you learn new abilities. There's various mini quests as well which you can do in the world, such as fishing or beating the Riddle Master, defeating the local cat, and many more. The point is that while Inaba is a small town, there's plenty of things to do besides just doing the main story. The only thing that I really could complain about is that I wish that you had more locations in which you could freely explore, such as Junes, and possibly going to Dojima and seeing him at the police station, because these are key points in the world in which you explore, and it would have just been a nice option to have had these added, because they really are important places in the town. Yet the game feels as if it's not letting you have access to these locations, and it just seems rather odd. If you're looking at this game and you're curious about buying it, then that's kind of a difficult question to answer. I would definitely recommend this game because it is an amazing game, and it is one which will stay with me for the rest of my life, because this game really is that good. However, Atlus, being Atlus, made an upgraded version in the form of Persona 4 Golden, and then they made this damn game a PlayStation Vita only game. This means that the only way that you're ever going to play the Golden Edition is if you either have a PS Vita or a PlayStation TV. And I don't really want to spend that much amount of money on just one of these formats so I can play one single game. What's even more annoying is that Persona 4 was re-released for the PlayStation Network as a Classic Edition. But that version was just this, the PlayStation 2 version. So no chance to play Persona 4 Golden on the PlayStation 3 then. It's just completely stupid because Atlus made an upgraded version of this game and then made it practically impossible for anyone to enjoy it unless you coughed up the cash for a PlayStation Vita or TV, and honestly, I don't think a lot of people out there are going to do this. So what happened was you made an incredible game, and you made it even more incredible, and then made it so hardly anyone can enjoy it. Sadly, you can't even emulate the Golden Edition because there isn't a working Vita emulator at this time. So sadly, your only real choice is to wait for a Vita to be worth absolutely nothing, or for a PS TV to be worth absolutely nothing either, so you can get one and then just get this single game and enjoy it. And that's annoyingly going to take a very long time from the looks of things. It's actually rather puzzling because I'm amazed there is no proper working Vita emulator at this point, considering how PS3 emulation has come along so quickly. In all honesty, I think PC users may get a chance to play Persona 5 before ever having a chance to play Persona 4 Golden anytime soon. So while this isn't the Golden edition of the game, is it worth it? I still would have to say most definitely yes. It's an amazing game with a fantastic cast of characters and an utterly brilliant story. This game had me hooked from start to finish, and when I completed it once I realised I'd missed out on so much, such as the social links and the various other personas that I could have gained. So I ended up replaying that game again for a second playthrough to try and complete everyone's side quest to know the full and complete story. It really is one of the best games that the PlayStation 2 had to offer, and currently it's available on the PlayStation Network for you to download and enjoy. You can also play the game on your PC via emulating it, and the game runs pretty smoothly. There are a few shadow glitches in places if you're using the option to force anti-aliasing and full screen and various other things, but in all honesty, this can be forgiven to play such a fantastic game. It is an amazing game and one you really cannot afford to miss. Well, that's it for this review guys. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.